Hey, good to have you here. We are talking about hypertext markup language, HTML. It sounds way fancier than it actually is, everybody. So first, big picture, a lot of the internet, much of the internet is just sending back and forth really text files. You send for information like what's on this page right here, and what you get back is a bunch of text and then how that text should kind of be like organized, like its styling. Now maybe that's a bit of an oversimplification, but pretty much that's what a lot of it looks like. This is in HTML. Now you've seen a lot of it already, like when you're doing your hello world. And this HTML looks something like this, and then it would come out something like this. Yeah. And so this is HTML, and HTML again stands for hypertext. That's a nerdy word for link. Yes. And ML is markup language. And so notice, like each one of these, why is it called that markup language? What's going on here is that all of this text here is marked up with specific tags of what that element contains. Here we're talking about H1. You may have guessed it means header 1. So that's going to be your biggest header. That's why that guy has like the largest font. H2 is the second sized header. There it's for quoters and so on, and that it goes all the way to H6, I believe. P tag stands for paragraph. Boom. And so the stuff within the opening and closing tags of P are all styled the way that P is styled with that paragraph. That's all that's going on there in terms of HTML with those markups. Now, to get really specific of all the, like a lot of the other things going on in an HTML file, like it should really have a basic structure that looks something like this. And you've seen some other things like this, and we're just going to go over really specifically and quickly what some of these things mean. So this top one is a document type declaration. You're saying whoever gets this, hey, this is HTML. Okay, that's a special one. It doesn't have a closing it doesn't have a closing tag. It just exists like that. And then you have your opening HTML tag that, if you notice at the bottom, has a closing HTML tag. Yup, and inside of that it can have special instructions, like right here it says that the language is English. And notice that all this other stuff inside of it kind of exists inside of that HTML tag. That's called nesting. All right, cool. And then inside of the HTML you might be able to recognize there's two main groups. One that's your head right there, and then one that's the body. Inside the body, this is where like our H1 tags, like if we had like an H1 that said hi, and then we would have to close it H1. Actually that's a little bit off. There we go. Just trying to get that line. For proper indentation here, it should be 2 spaces in. All right, cool. So yeah, you have your body here that has all the information that ends up on this screen for a large part, and then your head here. Now, inside of the head, there's important information about the document. The title is what shows up in the tab. Oh yeah, right here. This is what shows up right up here. Now of course this is like a little piece of code inside of the Evernote, but when you're writing your own code, that title is the thing that ends up there on the tab, and it holds some other key information. And it can have, yeah, like add links to style sheets. Yep, we're gonna add our CSS or style sheets that way. JavaScript code. Yup, it can have links to these kinds of things, and that's exactly what we see here. We see a link to a JavaScript and another link that's going to our style sheet. Cool, so we have like special, like, you know, instructions and information going on in the head, and then the body holds our key HTML going on here. And so there you go. Is there more to it? Of course, and we're going to get more into it, but there's an overview of what's going on with HTML hypertext markup language.